call the roll, please.
Myers. Here. Brayman.
Here.
Miller. Sweeney. Fairstenow.
Here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second?
I second that.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Approval of minutes. We have the January 17, 2022 regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the January 17th minutes?
We move the January 17th, 2022 minutes.
Could I have a second?
I second.
Any objections? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. We do not have scheduled comments and presentations, so we'll move directly to new business. A recommended approval of updated electronic equipment loan policy. Is there a motion to recommend approval of the updated electronic equipment loan policy?
I move to accept.
Okay, could I have a second?
I second.
Okay, report from the librarian.
Yes, thank you. So these are mostly housekeeping things, but I will say this, our hotspots and our Chromebooks are incredibly popular, particularly the hotspots. And so some of these changes are to make it easier for people to get them that need them. So I kind of wrote in the comments that the demand is very high. We do not want to have folks renewing them. They are checked out for 3 weeks at a time. So what we'd like is for them to bring them back to the library. And then if there are other hotspots available or Chromebooks available, then they may check out a new one. But if not, we want to have those in stock for the next person to come in. And we also do not want holds placed, because what we found is that there's such a high demand, we don't want them waiting back on the hold shelf for a week for someone to pick them up. And that's in practice really what we have been doing just because of necessity. So we'd like to make that our official policy. And then the last one, the last meeting, we talked about having a verbal agreement for the electronic equipment loan policy. That's working really well. I think actually people are getting more out of it by hearing us say the things that we need to say rather than us handing them a 2-page document. So that is all.
Are there any public comments? Okay. The subject is now open to discussion by the library board. Are there any board member comments? I think I would like to say that I appreciate that you are getting them back instead of allowing people to renew them remotely, because I always think electronic should be seen. And even if it means that they check out another one, I like to think that the electronics go under staff eyes every so many weeks, just in case something has happened to them.
I would also like to ask, since they're not signing a document saying that they abide by the library's rules, you haven't seemed to have any difficulty with people arguing that they haven't seen that or they didn't know that?
That's a good question. No, I have not. And in fact, I think people are, like I said, I think they understand the policy a little more because we are verbally telling them. There's really like 4 things we have them agree to, and it's much easier than, like I said, handing it to them. And what we do is we switch their account over, and so any staff member will know if that person has already agreed to the verbal agreement. And so if their account is switched to an electronic type of account, then we know that they have agreed.
Thank you.
And Rachel, do you tell them how much they'll have to pay if the item is damaged?
We don't upfront. It is in the item record, so if they're looking in our catalog, they can see that. So, and so far that has not been an issue either. And with these kind of devices, it's a different situation than a book or, you know, a lower cost item. So we would really be working with them.
Oh, working, yes, that's good. Is there any further discussion? Then I'd like to call for the vote.
Myers,
Yes.
Von Bremen,
Yes.
Furstenau.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the librarian's report.
All right. And I am going to try to summarize my lengthy report. I actually think I'm going to start sort of at the end and work my way forward. If you wanted to turn to page 13 of 18, we have 6 months worth of documents here. And I would love some feedback if you have it. I updated our infographics. I was trying to make them a little more modern and also easier to read. And I'm hoping that this is a helpful layout and also appealing. So we can come back to that, but I just wanted to point that out. So we have seen a steady increase in visitors to the library as we were expecting. We have had a good turnout at our summer reading program so far, and that's what we were hoping for and what we've been planning for. So now, if you don't mind, I'll jump back to page 5. So rather than read every bullet point, I'm just going to try to give sort of a brief summary, and if anyone has further questions, feel free to ask, or if I'm going too fast or too slow, that's okay to let me know. So really this winter, we continued to deal with COVID-19 issues. We had people that were out unexpectedly for very good reasons. And so we had some staffing issues, but I do feel like now it has gotten a lot easier. We're back up to full staff for one. And so you notice in the employee section, we had a few folks that have been with us for years move on to other things and we're happy that they were able to do that. And we've also been able to hire some really great new teammates. So if you ever have a chance, stop by and say hi. It feels like they've been there forever, but some of them have only been here for a couple weeks. So that's exciting for us. We got a lot of support from public health. They sent us KN95 masks as well as COVID-19 home tests, which we've been able to pass out to the community. It's also been a great thing to be able to help out with that. We partnered with a local individual who's part of the gardening club, and we now have a seed library. It's also great. It's basically it's in a card catalog, so that's fun. And people can donate seeds, and then they can also borrow seeds. And by borrow, I mean they take them home and they plant them, and if they have a chance to harvest the seeds, they can bring them back in the fall. We partnered with this woman and then also the gardening club to host several trainings on that. One was just an information session on what is this thing that is a seed library, and also sessions on how to save seeds. So that has been really fun, and I think within a month, it was just we were running out of seeds, but luckily because we promoted it, we were also getting donations in. So that has been a fun thing. Postage has increased. I think most people know that. That does cause concern, but we worked through it. We did need to transfer some funds from materials into postage to cover those overages. So that you'll probably hear about that again, is my guess. And the city continued to update their COVID-19 personnel policy. We continued following it. So in this 6-month range, you see us going from always wearing masks, always social distancing, some very strict policies, and then now we're a little more open, and it's kind of up to the individual, their comfort level. And of course, if people are experiencing symptoms, then masks are required. And everybody has just been really good to work with. All of our team has been really, really supportive, and I appreciate that they take care of one another and themselves. And we have made a decision just recently, so in April, we ran out of room in our workroom. We just had so much going on. We've been doing these take and make kits, which we got funds through the state to do these, and they're really popular, but they take up a lot of space because you have to stuff things in bags and then you have to store them. And we decided, and we worked with the Friends to do this, we said we really cannot be accepting book donations right now directly at the front desk. So the Friends said, yeah, that's fine. They've been great. So now we give out a phone number and people are able to set up a time to meet with them. For the majority of patrons wanting to donate books, this works really well. We do anticipate being able to accept donations, small donations, 1 or 2 boxes or bags at a time in the fall. So that's something else that it's actually been really good during the summer as well. So, and our rooms have been busy, especially our small meeting spaces, our large meeting space too. We were able to get some folding chairs and tables that have helped with outdoor programming and indoor programming. We ordered some new ergonomic office equipment, chairs and computer keyboards, just kind of an update on the state of the library furniture. It's mostly good, but of course it's going on 9 years old now. So what we're trying to do is replace things as we need them and make sure that we're getting something high quality that'll last and also be a good fit for our needs. And what I did since that's why I had you look at our new infographics. I'm no longer listing all the programs on those, the program highlights. I feel like that made it really busy and difficult to read. So I'm going to start putting them in our reports. This also gives me more space, so if I want to explain something further. And if you ever have any questions, again, feel free to ask. I can add more, especially because now it's in report form. But we did start offering in-person programs for adults. We originally had social distancing and we limited attendance to 30. And in March, we did remove that attendance limit. And like I was talking about, we had our take and make crafts, and they're not just crafts, but a lot of them are crafts. So those are for all ages, and we purchased those with ARPA funds. And like I said, I'll let you kind of read through some of our highlights, but our take and makes, we usually prepare. They all go out. So if we prepare 50, they all go out. So that's why those numbers are all the same. If you're wondering, wow, you had exactly 50, it's because that's how many we had the funds to prepare. So I'm going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. I think some of our bigger highlights would be we started up class visits again, and those were really popular. It's exciting to see the kids back in, and I anticipate that in the fall we will have more class visits. And we were able to attend an outreach activity at K Beach Elementary at their reading assembly they have. We hadn't been able to do that for a couple years. And so we talked about summer reading. And of course, we started up summer reading again. And that has been going really well. Let's see. So I believe we've signed up. I thought I had that in here somewhere. It's probably, it's on another page, but we've signed up 786 people. That was as of last week when it was published. So I'm not sure if we're going to get up to our 2019 numbers, but we're trying. We're still reminding people about it. So technology, anytime you have new technology, things happen. And we did have intermittent issues with our Kick scanner, which is that fancy scanner that you can scan anything on. But it's usually very lovely. The fax service has been the most popular feature of that, and so we quickly got it fixed, and it's been working really well since then. And the Holds Locker, that we're learning, some of it is user error and some of it is just figuring out new technology, so we're continuing to manage that. Have not had an issue in a while though. And we did get 2 new early literacy stations. Those are these computers with really colorful keyboards, and everything that is on them is designed to teach early learning skills, so math and reading, and also, of course, a little bit of digital literacy. And we're grateful to get ARPA funding for that as well. And I think I'll skip ahead to problems because we did already talk about staffing a little bit. We did have a patron, and this was unfortunate. We had a patron who was trespassed last fall and has continued to return to the library and harass staff verbally. And the police have been called in each instance, but the problem has continued to persist through the end of June. So that's just something you should be aware of. We're doing what we can. And then we also have had a patron using our parking lot overnight which is more of an issue in the winter months because they do snow removal very early in the morning. So we talked with streets and maintenance, and we talked with individual too, so they understand the reasons and that it's a safety issue. And so we are planning on posting some signs with our parking lot hours so they understand when is a good time. So that was one thing. And we did have a STEM kit go missing, and we discovered, this was actually before it was on the shelf, and we discovered someone taking it without permission, but I just kind of said the situation has been resolved and the kit was replaced. That's another thing, that those kits are very popular. I think I actually have the number in here. We got so many shares on Facebook from that one. It was pretty amazing. So, and librarians from across the country were writing into Rihanna, she's the one that set those up, asking her how we did them and asking if they could copy us. So that was really nice. It was really nice. And those also just fly off the shelf. So if you were to walk into the library and say, I'd like to see the STEM kits, I could show you, well, here's this empty shelf. So we are, of course, going to create more of those. And we've got some very creative people working on that. So collection management, we're trying to get everything ship shape. So shelf reading, it's really tedious work. It's where you literally just make sure every single book is right where it should be. So we've started a larger project with that, and we've been able to catch up a little bit with the summer because we're fully staffed, and we moved some things around. Alaskana, holds went back over on the far side of the front desk. We think that's going to help so we can assist people with checking out their holds afterwards. We did decide to interfile teen nonfiction with the regular adult fiction. We've been talking about, nonfiction. We've been talking about doing this for years because the teen nonfiction is sort of off on its own and we don't think people are finding it. And the teen area is right adjacent to the adult nonfiction. So we feel like that's a good place for it. And that way, if they go searching for something, they'll see everything that we have on the topic for them. And we're updating our technical processing manual, making sure everything is as it should be. There it is. So we reached over 500,000 people with our Adult STEM Kit Facebook post. We were very surprised. We were pleasantly surprised. So that was fun. We also created a Battle of the Books display. In the past, we kind of did a smaller one, but this time we decided to make it its own location so that when patrons search the catalog, it says Battle of the Books, and they'll quickly learn right where they are right when they walk in, because that's something we get asked about a lot. And we thought, let's make it easy, because if they're interfiled on the shelf, you'll have no way of knowing when you go out there that that's a battle book. I think the only situation we've come up with is then they all go away. And then when they go looking for the Battle of the Books section, there's not much there, but that's something we can solve as well. And then this is really exciting. We finished our picture book labeling project during the first weekend in July. So technically, I guess that would have been in July's report, but I wanted to share it with you now so you can go take a look. It took over a year. It involved nearly all of our staff members. So together we sorted and labeled over 5,000 items, and they now have themes such as things that go, bedtime stories, and tough topics. There's many more. And the labels have already made browsing a lot easier. Parents tell us this, and of course we see the kids that we can just say, well, look for the orange sticker or look for the green sticker. And staff also find it useful, especially if we're trying to grab story time books, and we usually have a theme, so it makes it easier. And that is something we have been planning on doing since, I believe, 2015 was when we first had the idea, but we didn't really have everything in place to implement it. And it was actually a really good team building project because we were all involved and we would kind of consult each other. And it's something that we could do and just take a small stack and do a few. So I think that was a really good thing to do over this last year. And so then summer reading, I already mentioned that we've had over 786 people have signed up now. Because I know we've signed up a few more. The theme is Oceans of Possibility, and if you look at the cover, it's right there. And the Soldotna Library Friends donated more funds so that we could continue offering free books for every child that signs up. And also we were able to partner with the Alaska Sea Life Center, and we used some of those funds to have them host an activity. Originally, we tried to have them in person, but they had some complications on their end, so we did it virtually where people came to the library, and then we had them on Zoom, and that was really good. And they also did a craft. And the other part of that was fun, we were able to partner with Kenai, and Kenai Library did the same thing. And we had a squid dissection for the teens. And yes, it was lovely. And we've decided we need to do more dissections at the library because people just thought it was delightful. So we'll probably have a fish dissection, or as they called it when I was a kid, filleting. Yeah, and so we're really back to our normal summer schedule. We have programs almost every day of the week. So we have just weekly events that we call Tidal Tuesdays, Tidal, awesome name. And we have weekly films and documentaries. And we also have paper reading logs and book bingo. We did drop the digital reading logs this year. We just didn't see as much usage at all, and nobody has said that they miss it, so we're going to probably continue that. And then the other fun thing we're doing is a Stick Together poster, and that is a community poster. So anytime you come in and check out items, you get a little rectangle, and we tell you what letter to put it on, and they're all different colors. And so by the end of the summer, we're hoping the picture will emerge. So as a community, we're building our story, and we're building this poster. And then last but not least, travel and training. We are continuing with our self-directed achievement program. I just see staff grow by leaps and bounds, and especially some of the ones that have been there a long time. We've had staff take that training and then go on and decide they wanted to get degrees or other things, certifications, and it's really great that they have that dedication to their patrons, to the library, and to their own learning, because that's really important. And then we did learn how to use the hotspots and Chromebooks because we figured we'd get questions, and that went fairly well, and we learned some things to pass on to our patrons. Leslie, myself, and Rihanna were able to attend the online Alaska Library Association conference in February. It was excellent. It was amazing. It had a lot of, they did a good job of organizing the session so that there was a clear pattern to them. And I will say it's the best online conference that I've attended. So I'm grateful we were able to do that. And we also had some technical processing training, so cataloging. And then Rihanna and I were able to attend the Public Library Association conference in Portland, Oregon in March. We did go in person, and that was the first time we've been back in person. It was an amazing experience as well. And then we did have all staff trainings in January, March, April, May, and June. Some of the topics we covered are reference databases, intellectual freedom, medical and legal reference, customer service, services for teens, and then verbal judo, which was a citywide training. So other than that, you can see our tables here. Library visitors, it's kind of interesting that now these are all pandemic years. So you can see that they are going up. So people are coming back. Checkouts are going up too as more people visit. And then the number of programs, some of those in 2021 are a little different too, because we had both in-person and virtual programs. So if you see that there's a higher number, there are some things that it's easier to do multiple programs online, but we are seeing people come back in force. So I think I've said enough. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, so there is an online tool called the Library Value Calculator, and I fill in more than what is on this document, but quite a few things on this document. So yes, that's how they do it. And so basically it's the amount that that our whole community would have spent that month on books, on meeting spaces, on programs, on all of those resources.
As I was looking through the programs, I noticed that there's a consistent number of teens coming to the programs. That's really nice to see. it varied from 15 to 20 up to 24 with the dissecting. So I'm pleased to see the teens coming in for the programs, Rachel.
We are too, and in fact, these numbers are better than our pre-pandemic numbers. I know it's going to be hard not to constantly compare them, but in terms of our averages, it's a little bit higher. So that's positive as well. We want to see them in there.
Any additional questions on Rachel's report?
Yes, I have one more. As you were going through and collection management, what you've done, it looks amazing, and I will be in there just to browse, especially in the section of nonfiction when you were integrating the teens with the adults, as well as with the juvenile nonfiction. Are they indicated anyway that of STEM related?
So the children's picture books would be, but not the teen nonfiction as much.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, the next agenda item is the Soldotna Library Friends report. Please turn on the microphone and introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Blackwell, and I'm the representative from the Friends of the Library. We had a meeting last week, and in that meeting, we discussed a number of things to include our upcoming Progress Days Bake, Book, and Art Sale, which will happen this Saturday at the Progress Days Parade. The bake sale will be out front under a canopy in case it rains, and then the book sale and the art sale, of course, will be in the library. We also scheduled a holiday book, bake, and art sale on December 3rd. It was very successful last year, so we hope to repeat that great success. We are working on a sewing project and working on a grant, and Rihanna has been tremendously helpful in letting us know what we need. You're probably familiar with that, Jane, from the Kenai Library, which we're super excited about that. So we just are working on gathering all the material to find out what the needs are and what the costs will be. And that's about it currently, and our fund balance is $28,687 right now, and we continue to work on that monthly with the book sales. We will not have an August book sale, given that we're doing the Progress Days book sale. So, any questions?
The sales, they'll take place in the typical, in the basement?
Yes, yep, in the basement. And we're working really hard to increase our notification of those sales with some new signage for in front of the library and expanding our social media presence on Instagram and on Facebook. In fact, funny story about our Facebook posting. I always post, and then Barb Olson does what they call the boost to get it out to more people. And she was traveling and was at a Yankees game in New York when she did the boost. And then I was getting all these messages as the Facebook manager saying, I would love to come, but I live in Pennsylvania or I live in New York. And I'm like, why are all these people aware of our event? And it happens that where you physically are located is where they tag these promotions. So lesson learned. We won't be posting from out of state anymore, but we were like, why is that happening? So yeah, we're working really hard to keep those numbers up, and because obviously that's our means for most of our revenue. And I'm still learning because I'm only a month on the board, or not a month, a year on the board. Wow, I've been on it for a year. So I'm still kind of learning. So Rachel, if you have anything to add to my report, feel free to jump in.
No, I can't think of anything other than we're really grateful for your continued support.
Absolutely. Our
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. City manager, members of the public are not here. Council member Carey, would you care to?
Just real short. want to continue to thank everyone that's associated with the library, the board, the Friends of the Library, all the staff. It is such an awesome resource that this community has. And I don't, and they're probably comfortable with this, but they don't receive near the amount of accolades they should receive. When you look at the numbers of people, again, that use the library, all the different programs, all the people coming in, just all those things, it is phenomenal by far. At the last two council meetings, I have praised the story or the book walk, and just enjoy taking up walking, and part of my path every day is through Parker Park, and just greatly enjoy those. And it was fun before they got any of them in, speculating on what was going on all those. And I had one person thought, oh, you're going to put the pictures of the council. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you don't know that. No. Those would be torn out and, again, blackened. But, again, it's wonderful. And watching parents with little kids walk through and the collective reading. So I just want to say what a wonderful, wonderful idea. And I can understand last year in terms of vandalism. I can understand. But I also know that we have to renew things. We have to have faith, and we have to have hope, and that those things are totally viable and good. And it's just really nice. And so I praise the library staff. And I'm also aware of city maintenance and others that work to put them in. It's a collective and a collaborative effort. Thank you.
Now we will have council comments, and if we could start with Mary Lou.
There is so much just to say thank you to you, Rachel, to your staff. As I look at this, to me, it's just awesome to see the library continue through everything that's been going. The patrons may have not been coming in. They were using the library. That's not an easy task. That's thank you to you and your staff to plan and submit the programs and keep the community involved. I just think it's wonderful. Thank you.
And Rachel, I'd like to say it's just all wonderful stuff. And it's almost a shame we didn't have that meeting in April, because you have so much to report at each of our meetings. And we enjoy hearing it. And I hope that other people read your reports, and people in the community see those. That's fine. The next regular meeting of the Soldotna Library Advisory Board will be held on October 17th at 5:15 p.m. in the City Council chamber. And concluding our business, we are adjourned.